It's a website.
It's a database.
It's an information library.
It is an advocacy tool.
It is a good repository of information related to HIV and migration.
Positive destinations. Information and advocacy on travelling and relocating with HIV. The relaunch of the global database on HIV-Specific travel and residence restrictions, formerly known as hivtravel.org. Now, positivedestinations.info.
Positive Destinations is a database containing information around travelling and relocating when you're living with HIV.
It is a resource for people living with HIV who are on the move and want to relocate short-term or long-term.
It's also an advocacy tool because it outlines the travel restrictions that still exist in many countries. There are restrictions which are discriminatory and serves absolutely no purpose on a public health level.
It's an evolution of hivtravel.org, and you can see the change in terms of the look and feel and the branding, but under the bonnet we've done a lot of work to the data, refreshing and updating it.
So we started by looking at the existing information on HIV travel, and then we began a verification process, country by country, to see if the information was still up to date. So, for example, I started by looking at websites from governmental authorities, like, for example, the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, embassies, consulates, and other national authorities who are in charge of migration.
We were also thinking about how we can present the information in a way which would be accessible to users. I set about breaking down the way that the country pages are laid out into bite-sized chunks so that a user could just access the piece of information that was relevant to them.
We've taken a website that was already pretty good and I think we've made it better. Well, there are several new features. There is now a news section where you can see the latest news on all the laws and policy related to HIV travel. And then we also have a resource library, and that's really the heart of the advocacy part of the website, because you will find lots of documents which shows either advocacy success tools or what people have done, what activities they've undertaken.
The old website had a section called Travel Tips with useful information for people with HIV, but also for PrEP users. Now that information is available under the frequently asked questions.
Storytelling is a powerful tool, especially when it's about people's lived experience. So another new section of the website are the stories, where we feature people's personal video testimonies in the context of HIV and migration. We filmed those at a booth in the Global Village of AIDS 2024 in Munich, which was a cooperation between HIV Justice Network, Queensland Positive People and NAPWA.
Well, we had many conversations when we were at the booth, and one of the things that came back regularly were people saying, well, once I am in a country, how can I actually access antiretroviral medications or even healthcare? So we actually researched and added information on how to get HIV treatment in each country, how to access healthcare, and we also provide a list of organizations that can actually help people and refer people to the right places.
As for the branding, we realized that it's about so much more than just traveling and HIV, so we wanted to make it wider and give it a positive twist. What is it that the user really wants from the website? They have a destination, both geographically but also in life. So we came up with Positive Destinations, added some color to it and gave it a compass to help you navigate.
Beth, our graphic designer, took that branding and created the new user interface, making sure that it would work on all sorts of devices like computers, mobile phones, tablets. And then Tom, our programmer, created a new back-end that's very much integrated with the HIV Justice Network's criminalisation database. So the two work alongside each other, and the team can therefore update both of them alongside each other and future-proof the whole back-end.
I think it's been given a major facelift, and it looks really fantastic. It looks fit for 2025 and beyond. We know that HIVtravel.org was a really useful resource, and I'm confident that Positive Destinations will continue to be really valuable for users in the future.
I would like to congratulate the team behind Positive Destinations. It has really made the website fresh and more up-to-date. It looks really cool. It's very easy to use. Once you visit the website, you can easily find all the information that you need for each country. For someone like me who's living with HIV from the Philippines, my major concern really is whether my destination country will be able to accept me when I choose to stay in a particular country. And I am happy that there's this one database that is available out there for not only people living with HIV like me, but also those people who are not living with HIV but who would know people who would need help and support in terms of migration.
The ability to travel, migrate, or relocate is an important part of life for many. For people living with HIV, however, this can come with added complexity. Some countries still impose restrictions on entry, stay, and residency based solely on HIV status, creating hurdles that can make travel difficult, stressful, or even impossible. Others limit access to HIV treatment for non-nationals, creating additional barriers to travel, study, or relocating with HIV. Positive Destinations is here to help people living with HIV navigate these barriers with confidence and clarity. As a member of the supervisory board of the HIV Justice Network, I'm really proud that we have taken on this new area of HIV justice advocacy.
The HIV Justice Network is probably best known for our work coordinating the global movement to end HIV criminalization. But our mission is to end all forms of discriminatory laws and policies that negatively impact people living with HIV. And this includes not just criminalization, but also addressing barriers to travel and migration that many people living with HIV face. So we were thrilled that in 2024, David Herry, who created the original HIV travel database back in 1997, handed it over to us. We've now rebranded it as Positive Destinations, and we've been working closely with David to update the website and integrate it into the HIV Justice Network's portfolio.
Over the last 27 years, the database had a lot of impact and was very helpful for people advising people living with HIV, for people living with HIV themselves when they were traveling or they planned to migrate. It has also served as an important source of information for researchers in the area and for intragovernmental discussions on lifting restrictions worldwide. And that's the thing I'm most proud about.
The importance of the database really came into sharp focus during a community forum in Brisbane in 2023 called Act Now on Global HIV Migration, Mobility and Health Equity. It became clear that there really hadn't been enough coordinated global advocacy to address the freedom of movement for people living with HIV. And this resulted in two important recommendations. First, there was a clear need to update the HIV travel database and website. And second, develop a network of local and international advocates to push for policy changes in the context of HIV and migration. With Positive Destinations, we're not just updating the website and database, we're building the foundation for a global network of advocates to drive meaningful and lasting change. However, sustaining this momentum and turning our vision into reality, it's going to require ongoing support and investment.
Although I'm extremely unhappy that this database still exists because I would like to see all restrictions removed. I'm very pleased that it lives on in the good hands of the HIV Justice Network.
For the next steps, I would like the people who are using the website, the real users, to actually tell us what we've missed and how to take it forward.
Either they have new information or different information that we can incorporate into the website.
Please let us know about your advocacy on HIV travel restrictions.
Share it on social media, share it with your friends, share it with your organizations.
And become part of the global movement for HIV justice.
Safe travels, everyone.